Hello. Today is Wednesday, May 20th, and yesterday, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins came out. You may be wondering why it is the day after this book is being released and I'm just now starting this vlog, and that's because yesterday we returned to New York. If you have been following me, you know that we have been in Maryland for the last like 7-8 weeks, and now we are back in Brooklyn. I'll talk about that more in another video, I think. But today we're just gonna get started in this. I have like a couple work meetings in a couple of hours, and also I have to eat. I haven't eaten yet today and it's 12:30, and also need to unpack still a bunch of stuff. I've spent all morning unpacking, and yesterday evening did a lot, but I really have a lot to do. I feel like I have more plants than I used to, but I haven't gotten any new plants, so I don't know what's up. But yes, I was at the store out 5 minutes before opening and like at the door waiting to get my copy. This is the book without the jacket, and I think it looks really, really cool. I'm just really excited. If you're the kind of person who like doesn't give a single fuck about this book or about Hunger Games or whatever, maybe don't watch this. I'm very excited. This is the highlight of my year. Let me have this. I'll update you when I get through some of it. Also, side note, I'm so sad that I couldn't go to a midnight release party. I went to a midnight release party in my hometown bookshop for both Catching Fire and Mockingjay, and I just love a good book midnight release party, and like I don't get to go to those anymore, and this I feel like should have had that, but obviously the world, you know? I've just opened the book, and the epigraphs are all Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Rousseau, like Wordsworth, Mary Shelley. Like, you know, this is gonna be some socio-political commentary. I am hyped. I am hyped. Tigress is his cousin? The fuck? Hello, it is the next day. I actually like had no time to read yesterday between work, and then Kirsten had a show, like an online show, and I read like 20 pages yesterday. It was very busy. I'm so annoyed that this came out in like the only busy week I feel like I've had in ages. I'm really trying not to pressure myself. I feel like everyone online is like burning through it really fast, and it's making me like feel left behind, but at the same time I don't want it to be over, so who knows. Even in the 20 pages yesterday, I did have like so many feelings and like realizations and revelations. I don't know if it was intentionally like a call forward to Plutarch, but there was a line that was people have short memories, and it made me think of his kind of speech towards the end of Mockingjay that I really, really love. So I liked that little moment, and also just in general, I think it's very interesting that the capital citizens at this point in time don't enjoy watching the Hunger Games. And also, like, the purpose of the war we see from the side of the districts in the original series, but for this we're obviously seeing it from the capital's point of view in terms of how like devastating it was to the capital. But also, I thought was interesting, a continuation of the people have short memories line is that they have to witness the Hunger Games to keep the war fresh in their minds. Forgetting could lead to complacency, which I think is like a coin flipped, I guess, of the original series. They realize how fragile that their existence is. I don't know. I'm just really loving this. Also, I love that we're seeing that Snow's rose obsession was inherited from his grandmother, and that he uses roses occasionally as perfume to cover like the scent of, I mean, in this case it was like the scent of the dye that they used on his shirt to make it look more presentable. So basically to cover his poverty and what he's going through at this time, which I think is very interesting because he later uses roses to cover the scent of poison. And to him, poverty is kind of a poison in itself, and to many. So I just love it. I'm literally 20 pages in. I could already write like an essay about this. It's just so good. Anyway, I'm very interested to see how they plan on making it compelling and how we get to the capital that we see in the later books from this capital that currently doesn't enjoy watching it, that is actually a little disgusted by children killing each other. So we'll see how we get so far. I'm really enjoying the like coin flips in this, by the way. If you do not appreciate the subtle yet not so subtle genius that is calling Alma Coin because she is the other side of the coin to President Snow's authoritarianism, then I don't even want to know you. So I'm on page like 52 and I'm just so mad that I can't. I mean, maybe I will just rewrite my dissertation. If you didn't know, my dissertation was all about like media manipulation in the Hunger Games films and novels, and this is like, Lucy Gray is just like a masterclass in media manipulation, and this scene in the monkey enclosure is so good, so good. It is later in the day. I want to say that at some point I'm going to leave my bedroom during this video, but that seems highly unlikely, though I promise I will like shower at some point. I have gotten to page 122. I'm really bad at this kind of vlogging, like a reading vlog where it's just one book and I'm just talking you through my feelings and everything. Obviously a lot has happened, like multiple people of the Capitol, multiple mentors have been injured or wounded or murdered. The games haven't started yet, and I think she's doing a really good job at establishing that obviously throughout the war horrible things happened in the Capitol and to the Capitol people. Like he literally saw someone cannibalize someone, which is horrifying. I feel like she's done a really good job of establishing stakes, but then also like you get the sense that even though these people obviously are highly like went through terrible things, they still have so much privilege, and I think she's really balanced, like tread that line very carefully. I just think it's also so fascinating that like Snow wrote the proposal for tributes to be given, like sponsored gifts and the betting system and everything. Like he really did that. He did that. But then he's also like trying to play a martyr and trying to be like, I just want to keep her safe, but I'm just doing all of these things because I have to. A really interesting play on character here. I am deeply enjoying myself, so that's my update. Hello, it is the next day and I've showered, so you're welcome. I'm on page 168. They're about to start the interviews and I'm excited. I'm having like a rough week mentally, and so I'm like trying, what is this? What is this? I'm trying to take the book slow because I don't want to be sad when I read it and have like sad memories looking back, unrelated to the content of the book. But I did want to note a few like fun things that I've noticed in the writing. So there was a line that was, it's just the kind of story that catches fire. LOL. I also just read, which made me stop. Hold please. After he'd introduced the new wrinkle in the games, referring to the new betting and like sponsorship program in the games, I thought that was funny. A wrinkle that's referenced in Catching Fire. Also, I like that apparently the Flickermans are just like, that's cool. I like that hosting the Hunger Games interviews and stuff clearly runs in the Flickerman blood. It's like an inherited job. We've met a Flickerman, we've met a Crane. She's dead now, but we met a Crane. A Seneca ancestor. We've met a Heavensby. There's Heavensby Hall as well. Overall, I'm just feeling like I did not, oh my god. I'll come back when that's done. Overall, when they announced that it was going to be from Snow's perspective, I was happy that it wasn't just like from a rebellious victor's perspective, or a rebellious tribute's perspective rather, because obviously then you'd have to watch that person like try and take down the system, but then there's still 65 years of games after that, so clearly it didn't work too well. But I feel like with Lucy Gray we're kind of subverting that a bit, in that she's the first person to manipulate the system and like the games. She's got this whole persona, and I feel like she's the first person to have done that. Really, in the past it's just been like brutal, big brutal kids succeed. So I really appreciate that little subversion that we're getting. And also I feel like Snow is being I find him a very interesting character even in this. I do in the original series as well, because he knows so much of what he's doing, and in this it's like she's not trying to humanize him so much as like give some sort of perspective on why he did what he did, but like he's not a good person. He's the one giving them all of these ideas. He is in no way like, even though he's growing close with Lucy Gray, he's still like orchestrating the whole thing and like is doing everything very intentionally and has no intent to like actually stop the games at this point. So it's an interesting balance, seeing how the Capitol is affected by everything and thus like how their trauma is coming through in these children who are mentors now, the ones left at least. You could put a turnip in a ball gown and it would still beg to be mashed. Fucking harsh. Oh my god. To someone's mother, no less. How dare. Kirsten has joined me. She's about to start her copy. You excited? Mm-hmm. We're listening to the music of the Hufflepuff common room here. We got a candle burning over there. Got your Dr. Pepper? Oh, yeah. I had to go in the other room because Kirsten is obviously just starting the book and I didn't want to spoil anything for her. So look, you get to see the living room for the first time in this video. Before this book came out, I feel like a lot of people were worried that it was going to be like a Joker situation where it was like a maybe good guy is like heartbroken or something happens to him and then he becomes vengeful and does horrible, terrible things. And I was very sure that Suzanne Collins was not going to do that. I think it was going to be more of a study in power. And what I am so pleased to be wrong about is that she kind of did both. He was raised in trauma and horrible things happened to him, and maybe if that hadn't been the case, he could have grown up a better person, but like he had no chance to be a better person. Like he was raised in terrible situations and raised with terrible beliefs and prejudices, and he constantly is saying really treacherous, terrible things. But with Lucy Gray, he was kind of given a chance, both with Lucy Gray and also with Sejanus. I'm not entirely sure what his name is, but the boy from 2 who's now a capital citizen. With both of them, he had a chance to be redeemable, maybe, or to learn or to grow. He's still a terrible person and is still like can't overlook what's happened to him and can't overlook his desire for power. Like at the heart of it all, he still wants to be president. He still wants to like fulfill his grandmother's dream for him of becoming president and like going to university and getting the money he needs and securing that. And I feel like he was, yeah, kind of given a chance for a bit of learning and redemption. And obviously I'm only 240 pages in, but I just really like the turn that it took. Basically he's just rescued what's his name, District 2 boy. I should have looked up his name before this. He's just rescued him from the arena and he just like hates him more than ever. So it's like he watches this boy like put his life on the line to try and make a better world for people, and he like he talks about how if he comes out of the arena, he has a chance to use his money in a way that helps other people and maybe like eliminates the games. But at the heart of it all, he's still the one putting all of these ideas into the game makers' heads and like wanting to build up the games. Like it's all just talk, and he actually just wants to help himself. That's always what it comes back to. So I think she did it very cleverly in that she kind of subverted expectations while also kind of giving into some sort of expectation. I don't know. Also, just the games as a whole are so fucking brutal before I mean, I guess all the technology is put in place. Like it's literally just like an arena, an empty space with like some stuff put in and tons of weapons. And like obviously it's brutal in the 75th Hunger Games or the 74th Hunger Games, but it just doesn't have that same like just rawness and realness to it that's just horrifying as this does, which I guess is part of the reason they have these mentors in the first place, to make it more appealing and less disgusting and horrifying to watch and make it more of a spectacle and feel less real, like less rooted in reality, so that people can then believe it's not a reality, like it's not a reality that will ever touch them. And it's just like such a different environment as opposed to this arena that these people grew up going to for sports. Like a lot of these people know that space. Whereas I feel like in later years, it's like this is a space completely designed for this. And so it's easier to kind of disassociate that. Anyway, so many thoughts. I could talk about this book forever, I feel like already, but I'm not even halfway done. So I love that for me. Hello. It's been a little while and I have a couple things to talk about. It's dark. Where's the light? Find your light, Kayley. I really think that Dr. Gall is just like who President Snow ends up being. Like such similar energy in the way they talk. The way the Doctor talks to Snow is the same way Snow later talks to Katniss, and the tone and this passage I really like. Start with that: chaos, no control, no law, no government at all, like being in the arena. Where do we go from there? What sort of social code is required for survival? That has such Snow energy, such like President Snow later in life energy. And it just, I mean, that's the whole series, I guess, in a nutshell. I really like that Dean Highbottom is playing a certain role. He had the line like, we're all in the arena together. I don't know. I'm very curious about that and like seeing more about his character. How's it going?
So fun.
Do you have anything to say so far? I don't know. You just made me so bright. The light balanced. Looking great. This whole video, I've just looked not good.
It's not my lighting.
No, like no spoilers, because Kirsten is behind me. But I just finished part 2. I thought I kind of knew where it was all going, and that was not where I landed. There's a really great passage on page 292 about power and control, and it really related to my dissertation that I wrote, and I have a lot to say about like Foucault and power systems, but I want to like marinate on it a bit more, so I might talk about that tomorrow, but I wrote a lot of notes on it. I think I've just discovered that I left my camera charger in Baltimore, so hopefully that turns up. I wanted to talk about some stuff that I couldn't talk about last night because I was too tired to like wrap my head around it fully, but essentially I think I mentioned that I have this like theory that Dr. Gall is basically just like who President Snow kind of evolves into to a certain extent. I think Highbottom, I think there's something going on. I mean, he obviously knew his father and he was the creator of the Hunger Games, and he kind of seems to regret it. He has a lot of guilt associated with it, and I think that's why he's addicted to morphling, and that's why he hates seeing Snow, because he reminds him so much of his father, and I feel like his father may have had some hand in the development, and I don't know exactly. He had a really great line about we're all of us being in the arena together. Snow was talking to Dr. Gall about control and what would happen if they didn't do the games and if they didn't have a government in place. Dr. Gall basically told him to write a paper about this, so I'm going to read the passage from that. And the law required enforcement, and that was where control came in. Without the control to enforce the contract, chaos reigned. The power that controlled needed to be greater than the people, otherwise they would challenge it. The only entity capable of this was the capital. There was like an essay or something I read when writing my dissertation called Exploiting the Gaps in the Fence, which is about power systems and discourse. A lot of Foucault in there. It's really, really interesting if you're interested on the academics of the Hunger Games. But he writes, I can't remember who actually wrote this piece, but they write, no simple dichotomies between the powerful and the powerless. Like it's not just like the rich people have the power. That's it. It's not that simple. And I feel like this is establishing that early on. Like this is when power could still so easily change hands. Foucault said that power is everywhere because it comes from everywhere. And also where there is power, there is resistance. So obviously that is displayed in all things, but especially in these series, these books. So the idea of power is like internalized by the citizens, but I feel like at this point in the series that hasn't happened yet, and that's what I find really interesting. So that's just something my mind wandered to while reading, and I ended up taking a lot of notes and like going back and reading some of my original sources. I also wanted to call out a couple funny quotes that I appreciated, and one was, "He had to do something to put the odds in her favor." And then also I just read this line, which was, "Coriolanus felt sure he spotted his first ever mockingjay and that he disliked the thing on sight," which is funny. I also really like this Suzanne Collins quote because I really feel like it's something she believes deeply in, and that is, "Why did all these people think that all they needed to start a rebellion was anger?" Which I think is a sign of the times, you know? I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the peacekeeper situation. Like I feel kind of like things are falling into place weirdly. I don't know how to feel yet, but I'm on page 352, so I'm gonna keep reading. So I just got to the letter from Pluribus Bell, and it does sound like Highbottom was drunk when he suggested the Hunger Games, and it was like a joke. But then I think Snow's father made it reality, and it like under the assumption that it would make him look good, but really I think it just made Snow look good. And now Highbottom has to like deal with the fact that people think he created the Hunger Games and he doesn't agree with it. So that's what it sounds like to me, and I feel vindicated. Update 1, it's raining, so if you can hear that, you're welcome. 2, I didn't leave my charger in Baltimore. And 3, I absolutely love how much Snow hates the Mockingjays. He's like, we should just kill them all. It must have just pissed him off so much when Katniss like took the Mockingjay personality. He's just like, God damn it, I knew I should have killed them all when I had the chance. Also, I really love that Lucy Greybeard wrote the Hanging Tree song. I kind of thought that might be the case. Ooh, and especially when that scene happened, I was like, sounds familiar, but I'm really happy that I like that. Hello, it has been hours. I had like 2 breakdowns before finishing the book about finishing the book because I knew I'd be so sad that it was over, and I'm just sad. I want more. Like, I feel like this is what I've been looking forward to for so long, especially like during quarantine. I've just been like, well, everything's fine because I'm gonna get a new Hunger Games book, and now it's done, and now I have nothing to look forward to, and life is depressing. Anyway, my feelings on the book. I should get the book. I feel like I want to like do some more put together thoughtful review than this, but I do just want to end this video so that I can like actually get it out in a reasonable time, because I feel like if I wait around until I have like really great thoughts about it, it'll like be too late. No one will care. I said this at some other point in this vlog, but I do really feel like people were so concerned that this book was trying to make Snow a likable protagonist, and 100% you can tell that Suzanne Collins never did that. Like, she at no point was trying to get you to side with him. She at every stage was making you see that this man is not a nice person. He was given every opportunity to be a nice person, to like do the right thing, and like he had all these people surrounding him that really loved him and thought of him as, you know, a lover, a brother. I guess not all these people, he had a couple people, a handful of people who saw him as these figures, and he just felt like next to nothing for them. He talked about loving Lucy Gray, but he just liked owning her. He didn't actually love anything particular about her. In fact, a lot of the things that made her who she is were things that he found repulsive or annoying, like her singing and the people she loved, and like her attitude about the districts, like, and the capital, and also just the fact that she doesn't come from anywhere. And he hated like all of these things about her, but still kept being like, but I'm in love, my first love. And it's just, he's so despicable. I'm not saying that in a loving way. I think he's truly awful, but I think this was a brilliant job of showing that. I love the end. Well, I think that the end was a really interesting turning point, because he multiple times throughout the series talks about his killings were, you know, like self-defense. He had to do it. He had to do it. It's human nature in that position. But ultimately, the last death in this book, the first of what turns out to be many, because as we know, he ends up poisoning people regularly. This is like where it becomes his thing, is with Dean Highbottom, which I feel vindicated because I really called the whole arc with him. I can't remember if I said in the video or just wrote it in my notes, but yeah, the whole arc with Dean regretting starting the Hunger Games and like hating that that's his life. But at the end, the fact that Snow premeditates this murder and goes out of his way to kill him, like that's a real turning point, because all of the other ones have been out of like fear or self-defense, and they weren't premeditated and they weren't necessarily intentional, but this one very much was, and it's a big turning point, and I thought that was really interesting. I don't even know, there's so many things to say about this. I did really enjoy it. There was a bit of a like lull, I think a lot of his time as a peacekeeper in District 12 was like a little slow and just like, I don't know, I didn't know that we needed all of it. I think it did have kind of a slow part in the middle there, or like the 75% mark or so, but overall I just really liked it. I think it's a really great anti-hero story, like a really good, I don't even know what to call this. Like he really thinks that he is a protagonist. Like he very much in his own head thinks he's like the positive protagonist of his own life story, and he just fully is not. And I love that she wrote it like that. She didn't write it like a lot of stories tend to do. I also think that one of the most interesting things about Snow in the original series is that he very much always thinks that he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's trying to do things to keep order, and you see that very much in here. He gets that from Dr. Gall, like all throughout. His thing is like that without control there is chaos, and he holds on to that for the rest of his life. And that's really what he talks about Katniss, talks to Katniss with, and like his whole, like why he hates her so much is because she represents the lack of control that the Capitol has. And I think you saw that really well with how much he hates the Mockingjay. I don't know, I just feel many things. I really love this book, and I'm going to reread it very soon. I'm now very sad that it's over, but do you have any final thoughts?
I liked it.
That's all? Yeah. In case you didn't hear that gushing review, she said, I liked it. If you've read the book, let me know your thoughts in the description, in the comments below. Let me know if you think, I don't know, what you think the Covey does after this, because I'm really sad for them. I also have this like, obviously, well, I'm pretty certain that Lucy Gray does die, but I also have this like yearning that she actually goes off and lives with the people in the North, if they exist, and lives the rest of her life very happy. So that's what I'm gonna hold on to, because I really enjoyed her. Oh, another thing I did talk to Kirsten about, so I forgot to mention it here, is that I wanted more from her character, and not in the sense that I wanted like more story from her perspective. I really wanted her, I feel like she very early on in the book was very cool to me and very savvy, and like knew how to manipulate people really well and like garner audience, because she is like an entertainer, she is a showboat. But by the end, I feel like she just very much kind of like was wrapped around his finger, which I mean shows that he is good at what he does, but also I feel like I wanted her to be stronger and like see through him a bit. But I don't know, I feel like she's a 16-year-old, you know? I think I'm expecting too much of her. I'm not expecting her to be a Katniss. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hopefully I'll do another video where I like really put together my thoughts and feelings in a review. Who knows? See you soon. Goodbye.